Well, the shooting drawing reaction from both sides of the aisle. Our Samantha Cavalli in our newsroom tonight with the governor, who had an announcement today following the events of this past weekend. Samantha?
Right, Chris. Governor Tony Evers says that Wisconsin is now joining other states to support Minnesota in a lawsuit against the Trump administration after those deadly shootings. The lawsuit is asking a judge to block what the states call unlawful actions. This comes as federal immigration enforcement in Minnesota under growing scrutiny after the recent deadly shootings of not only Alex Pretti, but this past weekend, but also Renee Good on January 7th. Governor Evers releasing a statement today in support of the state of Minnesota lawsuit challenging President Trump and the administration's deployment of ICE and Border Patrol agents in the state. It's saying in part, quote, that American citizens are having their rights and freedoms violated and are being put in unsafe and life-threatening situations in their own communities. 2 have already lost their lives. It has to stop. End quote. Action 2 News also received a statement from Representative Tony Weed today about the shooting, saying in part, quote, that my prayers go out to Alex Pretti's family and loved ones. While we await a thorough investigation, I encourage my colleagues to tone down their rhetoric, which has put both law enforcement officers and the public at risk. End quote. And after many phone calls with Minnesota Governor Tim Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, President Trump agreeing that the current situation cannot continue. ABC's reporting that some federal agents could soon begin leaving as early as Tuesday. Chris.